So we're going to be using something today called Pythagorean theorem, which is used to find the length of an unknown side in a what type of triangle does it have to be? I'm going to give you a clue.
Right angle triangle.
It has to be a right angled triangle. So we're going to write the word right here. If the triangle does not have a right angle, you cannot use Pythagorean theorem, okay? The most important thing when you're labeling your triangle is you have to make sure you label the hypotenuse in the correct spot. This is very important. The side that is opposite from the right angle. So I'm going to give you some triangles. You're going to figure out which one is the hypotenuse. So wherever your right angle is, you're going to look for the side opposite to that. That's always the hypotenuse. You must label that correctly. It's always C. In your formula, it always has to be C. So I want you to copy these triangles. And you are going to label the hypotenuse. Okay? So if this is my right angle, which side length will be labeled C? This one? Show me your hands. Yes? Is this the hypotenuse? Is this the hypotenuse?
Yes.
Show of hands. Correct. That is C because it is across from the right angle. Does everyone understand that? So let's try this one. Show of hands. Is this the hypotenuse? Is this the hypotenuse? Is this the hypotenuse?
Yes.
It's across from the right angle. Okay, last one. Here's the right angle. Is this the hypotenuse? Is this the hypotenuse? Good. It's across from the right angle. Does it matter which two sides you call A and B? It actually does not. Once you label C, doesn't matter. I can call this A and this B. I can call this A and this B. I'll call this A and this B. A and B are the legs. Doesn't matter what order you write A and B in as long as you've labeled the hypotenuse. Everyone understand that concept? So, if we're trying to find the hypotenuse, which is what we're going to work on today, Pythagorean theorem, we use this formula. Who remembers this from last year? A squared plus B squared equals C squared. Who remembers that? That is Pythagorean theorem. That's it. Okay? If we know the hypotenuse, this is another formula that you could use. Just rearrange it. And you're trying to find one of the other sides. You can rearrange the formula. For example, I can say B squared, let's say I want to know the side length, is equal to C squared take away A squared. Copy that down as well. Okay? So if you're finding the hypotenuse, we use that formula. If you need to find one of the legs, like A or B, you use that formula. So if we are solving, we're going to try question A for a missing side length. In the first question, we're given 6, 8, and they've actually labeled this for you. We know this has to be C because it's across from the right angle, right? So what do you want to call A, 6 or 8? Which one's A? Does it matter which one I call A and B? So let's do A, B. Okay, so it doesn't matter. I could have done B, A, B, does not matter. Which formula are we going to plug these numbers into? Okay, so we're using the formula A squared plus B squared equals C squared. Always rewrite your formula underneath. We've called this A and we've called this B. So all you're doing now is you're plugging in the number for A and you're plugging in the number for B and we're going to find C. And I'm going to show you how to do that. So instead of writing A squared, I'm going to write 6 squared, or 6 to the power of 2, plus, what's B? 8 squared equals, do I know C? I don't know C. We do not know C. That's unknown. I don't know C. So we're going to just simplify this. Look here. How would you simplify 6 squared? And you already asked this. 6 squared means 6 times 6. What is 6 times 6? So 36 plus 8 squared means 8 times 8, right? 8 multiplied by itself twice. 64. All of that is equal to 6 squared. Kareem, can I add these together? Simplify. Mohammed, 36 plus 64 is? So 100 equals c squared, right? But I don't want to know what c squared is equal to. I want to know what c is equal to, right? I need to know the side length. So I'm trying to figure out what times what gives me 100. Well, the opposite of squaring a number is doing the square root. I know that the square root of c squared is c, right? Because c times c is c squared. So we have to figure out what is the square root of 100. The last step is always to do the square root of the number. So what is the square root of 100? You can use your calculator. You're trying to figure out what two numbers do you multiply together to get you 100. And it has to be the same number because it's a square. Yes. 10. That's it. That's the answer. C is equal to 10. In this question, we are trying to find x. We know that this is 7 and this is 12. Remember I told you the first step is to label A, B, and C. C always has to be the hypotenuse. So which side length here has to be C? Okay, and the hypotenuse, C, always has to be across from the right angle. So we know that this has to be C. Does it matter which one we call A and B? No. So I'm going to call this B, and I'm going to call this A. So this time, we're trying to find the missing side length. Who can tell me what formula we use to find a missing side length? B squared equals C squared. Okay, it's already rearranged for us. We're just going to plug in the numbers now. Do I know B? Do I know side length B? No. This is an unknown. It's a variable. So I'm going to call, so it's x. X squared is equal to, what's C? X squared equals 12 squared. Take away, what's A? 7 squared. Everyone see what I did there? I just plugged in the numbers. If this is C, I'm replacing the number 12 where I have a C. I called this A. I'm replacing the number 7 where I have an A. I'm just plugging it in. This is 12 and this is 7. And now I'm going to simplify this just like we did. I don't know X. What does 12 squared mean? 12 times 2 or 12 times 12? So do it on your calculator. What is 12 times 12?
44.
Good. What does 7 squared mean? 7 times 2 or 7 times 7? What's 7 times 7? Good. Okay, so we still don't know x squared. Can we simplify this? Yep, subtract. So Kareem said x is equal to 95. Is he correct? He said x equals 95. Is that true? No? X squared equals 95. I need to find x. What is the last and final step? How do you get rid of the squared? We have to do what? Square root. What is, punch it in your calculator, what is the square root of 95? You're going to get a decimal. We're going to round it off, so approximately equal to 1 decimal place. What is it? Square root of 9. We're going to round it off to 9.7.